So things like that happen. I mean, it's you could argue that it was, maybe a poor schedule, and maybe they could schedule him on a bigger court. Yes, but again, she's Alex Eala. That's been a talk, and which is understandable. There's some players coming from respective countries, like she's coming from Philippines, which is now a big deal. She's been the biggest ever, tennis player from that country, which is a big country, and there's a big.
At the Australian Open, Novak Djokovic has finally spoken out about Alex Eala's predicament. And believe me when I say that he did not hold back. Alex Eala, the pride of the Philippines and a phenomenal Filipino tennis sensation, lost in the opening round of the Australian Open. Here's the worst part, though. Her performance wasn't the only factor. Djokovic and many others who have been following along believe that the WTA's handling of her match was a major factor in her elimination. And Novak is really calling them out on it. Alex Eala had big hopes going into the Australian Open. She isn't your typical player. She is without a doubt the greatest tennis player to have ever emerged from the Philippines. It's not exaggerated. That is a fact. This young lady has been breaking down barriers, creating history, and introducing Filipino tennis to a worldwide audience. She is deserving of respect. She should be treated with respect. She should be afforded the same opportunity as other athletes of her caliber. However, what did she receive in its place? A court that is smaller. Yes, exactly. Alex Eala should have been playing on a bigger, more prominent court, but the WTA chose to assign her to a lower court in spite of her skill, accomplishments, and everything she has accomplished. Novak Djokovic also took note. Music he didn't merely observe, he voiced his opinion. He also made it abundantly evident that the WTA had handled things poorly. According to Djokovic, Alex Eala is the best tennis player the Philippines has ever produced and is deserving of every accolade in the world. However, the WTA does not treat her with that dignity. She is not being treated fairly by them. And regrettably, her first-round exit may have been influenced by this improper handling. Come on, others may urge, it's only a court assignment. How much of a difference does it actually make? Let me assure you, though, it makes a huge difference. The court's dimensions, the ambience, the crowd's enthusiasm, the lighting, and the surface conditions. A player's performance is influenced by all of these elements, particularly during high-stress events like Grand Slam tournaments. Music, however, this is what makes the situation even more unsettling. This is not a singular occurrence. Throughout her career in the WTA, Alex Eala has encountered a trend of dubious treatment, including this one. And if you've been following her journey, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Allow me to recall one particularly heinous instance. During the Australian Open qualifiers, something absolutely shocking happened. In the first set, Eala was in the midst of a crucial rally. She struck a ball that was obviously in. People, I'm being perfectly clear. It was visible to everyone in the stadium. The mark was visible on the court. The trajectory was flawless. It was her point by every unbiased metric. The call-out then came.
Alex a little bit annoyed now. That's the second time that has happened with that same linesman.
That's terrible enough on its own, but things grow worse from here. At least it would have been a decision rather than just giving the point to her opponent, which would have been the wrong choice. The officials made the decision to completely replay the point. You are aware that's not usual practice if you are familiar with tennis. If you're not sure about a call, you don't simply get to replay points. The ball is either in or out. For a period, you make a choice and follow through on it. However, it appears that the standard guidelines don't apply to Alex Eala. This is what I adore most about Alex Eala. She didn't simply take it. Calm yet strong, she approached the chair umpire. "I know what you're doing," she added. The resolve in her eyes and the assurance in her voice. She would not allow herself to be intimidated. She refused to be pushed around by them. She called them out on it in the middle of the court since she knew exactly what was going on. What do you know? Alex Eala prevailed in that match in spite of all of that bullshit, the dubious calls, and the attempts to distract her. She persisted. She persevered and advanced all the way to the Australian Open qualifying finals. That is the type of resilience and mental toughness we are discussing here. But hold on, things get even more problematic. Allow me to explain what transpired during her bout with Iga Swiatek. Now, let me give you some background if you're not a tennis fan. Iga Swiatek is one of the top players in the world. We are discussing a former world #1, multiple Grand Slam champion, and unstoppable force on the court. It is already an amazing accomplishment for a young player like Alex Eala to be able to compete with someone of that ability. And you know what? Eala was more than simply a rival. She was performing incredibly well. She was keeping up with one of the top players in the game, matching Swiatek shot for shot. The momentum was increasing. She threatened to pull off what would have been one of the tournament's biggest upsets. Then, unexpectedly, a referee chose to question her about things in her backpack. Yes, you heard correctly. Eala was gaining significant momentum and confidence during a pivotal match when an official chose to make a big deal out of her backpack. Here's the truly unsettling bit, though. They didn't merely deal with it in silence. The announcement was amplified so that everyone in the audience could hear it. In an effort to degrade her in front of thousands of fans in the stadium and millions more watching at home across the globe, they attempted to paint her as some sort of rule breaker.
It's confirmed you cannot use it.
Consider the psychological effects that something would have on a player. You're in the zone. You're facing up against one of the world's top players at the greatest level, and all of a sudden you're being publicly humiliated and called out for something insignificant. It's an obvious attempt to frighten her, to distract her from her game, to cause her to doubt herself just when she most needed it. Professional sports have no place for psychological warfare of this nature. Not at all. And this is precisely the reason why Novak Djokovic's assertion is so significant. Djokovic is not merely a commentator. Among the best tennis players of all time is him. He has 24 Grand Slam victories to his name. For almost 20 years, he has been at the pinnacle of the sport. He has experience competing at the greatest level. Additionally, he is aware of the differences between bias and subpar management and fair treatment. People pay attention when someone with Djokovic's training and background raises awareness to a problem like this. And since everything he says makes perfect sense, people ought to pay attention. Alex Eala is worthy of better. She is entitled to equitable treatment. She should be treated with the same respect and opportunity as all other players on the circuit. The way the WTA is handling these kinds of incidents has to be seriously examined. Court orders shouldn't be given at random. Officiating should be consistent and fair. Furthermore, in addition to competing against their rivals on the court, young, gifted tennis players from tiny tennis nations like the Philippines shouldn't have to deal with prejudice and subpar administration. What are your thoughts on all of this, then? Do you concur with Novak Djokovic that Alex Eala's treatment has been handled improperly by the WTA? Have you observed how her matches are being impacted by this trend of dubious calls and choices? Please share your opinions in the comment section below. I'd want to know your thoughts. Let's also lend Alex Eala some support. This young lady has already conquered a great deal, and she will keep rising in spite of these challenges. She has the ability. She is mentally resilient. Additionally, she now has advocates like Novak Djokovic speaking up for her. Give this video a thumbs up, share it with other tennis fans, and subscribe to the channel with notifications enabled if you liked it and want to see more tennis content and coverage of significant topics like this. Together, we can raise awareness of what's actually going on in the sport that we all love. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, keep up the good work advocating for tennis justice.